States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Boyce. Martin.
Here.
Dole. Here. Crockett.
Here.
Geske. Phillips.
Here. We have a quorum. As always, we begin with the approval of our board minutes. We have the minutes from our regular board meeting from September 16th of 2019. It was included in everyone's packet. Hopefully everyone has had the opportunity to review the minutes. Are there any changes, additions, corrections, deletions? Seeing none, I accept a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented by the clerk. Motion by Martin.
Second.
Second by Dole. Roll call.
Martin.
Yes.
Dole. Yes. Crockett.
Yes.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carries. Public participation, I assume we have nobody?
No one this evening.
Okay. Village President's report, just a couple items tonight. Wanted to read a letter that we got from the event that took place here several weeks ago. If you remember, this summer we had the first, I think it's going to be the first of the annual event of the Heroes, Hogs, and Hot Rods, the benefit that was for the Veterans Home. And in a letter I received, dear friends, on behalf of the Heroes, Hogs, and Hot Rods Committee, I would like to sincerely thank you for your support and commitment that made our fundraiser a huge success. Without our partners like you, we would never have been able to pull off such a great event. We've had nothing but positive feedback from the Manteno community. We are excited to also tell you that we hope to do it all again next year. Save the date, August 8th, 2020. As the dust finally settles, we are proud to announce that after expenses and including all sponsorships, we have raised just over $20,000 so far to go directly to our tiny home project. We know that we have a long way to go, but we're all excited for our first event to help the veteran homeless population have a place to call their own. Again, thank you so much for your support. We look forward to working with you again. Sincerely, E.W. Peterson, founder, president of the project Headspace and Timing. That was Mr. Peterson that had been here earlier this year and was the founder of this event and the one that got it going. So it looks like we'll be hosting hopefully that on an annual basis, and it turned out very well. The only other item that I want to talk about a little bit was the Oktoberfest that we had here a couple of weeks ago. We have not had a meeting since that time. And as you're all aware, the Oktoberfest had a few extra events this year that we hadn't anticipated. On Friday night, a bad storm came through and took out the Main Street and pretty much all the vendors. The beer tent was destroyed and everything was pretty much a mess. And plus we got 6 inches of rain at the same night. The Main Street looks like somewhat of a war zone on Saturday morning with the tents, all over the place and all the different concessions knocked over. There was a meeting held Saturday morning by the Chamber Board and the Police Department. I was there, along with Jim Hanley and the Public Works Department to decide what was going to happen. And it really wasn't a decision whether or not we were going to have it or not. It was just how much could we continue. We decided to try to go ahead and put everything back together. The beer tent became a beer garden because we couldn't get another tent, obviously on short notice that big, and the one that we had was totally destroyed. We had a lot of volunteers, people that just came up and started helping us, and by early afternoon the place was back in business. We also had the village of Bourbonnais show up. Mayor Shore had called me the night before, right after the storm, when he saw it on the news that Manteno had been heavily impacted. He was aware that the Oktoberfest was going on here, and he saw that the tent had been blown down and everything that had been blown down. Volunteered public works crews from the village of Bourbonnais. At the time he called, I really didn't know what the extent of the damage was, so on Saturday morning after our meeting, I called Mayor Shore. Within the hour, we had a couple of different Bourbonnais vehicles up here and several Bourbonnais public works crews that I think Jim assigned them to cleaning up the parade route and picking up the branches and getting streets open while the Manteno Public Works people worked up on Main Street, putting everything back together there. So the community really came together on Saturday night, and obviously the parade, we had that. The uptown on Saturday night was crowded. In the show did go on. Saturday or Sunday got impacted with the rain too, so it was pretty much a abbreviated event because of the bad weather, but it still did go on. And I just wanted to, on behalf of the village board, thank all the village workers that came in and worked extra to get everything put back together. Thank the village of Bourbonnais. I sent a letter to Mayor Shore to, thanking him and his village board and all his staff for their assistance. I think that's really something that we as a board need to, kind of heed, that when other communities are in trouble and we see that other communities get impacted, whether it's by weather or other disasters that take place, that we make sure that we make those calls and send people, there whenever we need it, because it certainly made a difference when they came here. So thanks to everybody that put everything back together. We had good crowds on Saturday night for the parade. The parade was, I don't think, was impacted much. I know it went on for quite a while, and Sarah worked hard and put everything back together. So I'm sure it wasn't the weekend that she had planned, but she did a great job, and everybody on the chamber and the chamber board did a great job getting everything done. So thank you very much for making that a successful event and turning it into something that we can be proud of, even though the weather didn't cooperate. The only other item I have is on the agenda. I have a TIF number 3 redevelopment agreement. That agreement has not been finalized yet. And I talked with Joe Pankar this afternoon. We're hoping that at the next board meeting that we will have that. That is a redevelopment agreement with the people that are, or with the TIF number 3, which is the new TIF that we created about a year ago down by the 6,000 interchange. So Joe and the other attorneys from the private owners are still working on that, and we hope to have that available for a meeting to vote on next in 2 weeks. Village Administrator's report, Mr. Laurent.
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Committee reports, Public Works and Utilities, Mr. Boyce is not here. He does have one item on the agenda. Mr. Martin, do you want to go ahead and take that?
Yep, old business on the agenda, none. New business on the agenda for consideration, a motion to approve the acceptance of a grant to permit utility easement from Mary Nugent for vacant property located along South Cypress Street, parcel number 03-02-29-400-003. And as an explanation, this is a continuation of our cooperation with Aqua, Illinois, to secure the needed easements along properties on South Cypress Street to facilitate the installation of water and sewer mains. This infrastructure is critical to promote development in that area.
But this is an easement that's necessary, like it says, to, they are running water to the new 6,000 interchange and also sewer from our wastewater treatment facility down to service all the land that's on the east side of I-57 down there. So Chris has been working with all the property owners and with Aqua, and I believe this is the final piece once they get...
We've actually got a couple more that we'll have at the next meeting.
Okay, so Aqua can actually go ahead and get started putting that infrastructure in and be able to have service there as soon as possible.
The only other thing is the next Public Works meeting will be on Tuesday, 10/22/19 at 7 o'clock a.m. at the Village Hall Conference Room.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Martin. The Properties and Recreation, you got that also?
Yep, no old business, no new business, and the next meeting will be on October 16th, 7 p.m. here, and Jim will figure out what we're going to meet before.
I think we're going to Jacobs Park.
At 6:30. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Public Safety and Health, Mrs. Dole.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one action item on the agenda tonight. It is Resolution 19-08, a resolution approving a side letter of agreement between the Village of Manteno and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council. This was discussed at our public safety meeting, and the specific language was perfected between our council and the union's representative over several weeks. This will formalize a scheduling practice that has been going on for several months. It covers flex shifts that have been a positive effect for the police force in the village. Chief Al, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, it's just an informal practice we've been doing for a couple of years. It's a flex shift, voluntary. It allows us to move an officer between 2 different shifts depending on the need. It saves us overtime. It allows an officer to be kind of flexible with his schedule. So it's worked out pretty well for a couple of years. So we added another one. We had a midnight and afternoon. Now we have an afternoon day. And the board thought it wise to formalize that agreement since we've been doing it for a while. So it's basically formalizing something we've had in place for quite a while.
And this is something that's requested by the FOP, is it? I mean, they're content with it and happy with it.
Yeah, both sides. It was really just an agreement between both sides to make our operations a little more efficient. But it's voluntary, and both sides can be in it at any time.
Thank you. I have a public safety meeting this Wednesday on the 9th at 7 a.m. at the Village Hall Conference Room. Had a Safety tip, one of the best tools for solving crimes in Manteno is through video surveillance. While the village maintains several cameras in the business district and parks, there are few in the residential areas. Video cameras installed on your home not only capture criminals in the act, but also can prevent crime from happening. If the police are investigating activity in your neighborhood, don't be surprised if an officer contacts you asking to view your video. This is completely voluntary on your part. Video surveillance is one of the best methods for apprehending criminals and convicting suspects who are caught in the act of committing a crime. Installing video surveillance is a great example of community police partnerships and is something we highly value as a police agency serving our community. We're winding down with Lifestyle 360. October meeting is the 15th, and it's a field trip at the Manteno Fire Station at 13 South Walnut. This starts at 9 a.m. for the social time, 9:15 to listen to what they have to say, 9:45 a safety presentation, and 10 to 10:30 a little social time. So hopefully you'll check your time for the 15th. And just like I said, we're winding down. November 19th will be the last Lifestyle 360 we'll have for this year. And that's all I have.
Legal Snow, Planning and Zoning, Mr. Crockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything on the agenda this evening, but we do have a Planning and Zoning Committee meeting scheduled for Tuesday, October the 22nd, 7 a.m. in the Village Hall Conference Room. And the next Planning Commission meeting is Tuesday, October the 8th, 6 p.m. here in the Village Boardroom. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Crockett. Finance, Mr. Geske.
Thank you. The only item I have is payment of bills in the amount of $364,392.56, which includes TIF bills in the amount of $313,657.51. Our bills authorized between board cycles were $42,745.84, and the next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for October 9th at 7 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Geske. General Government, Mr. Phillips.
Thank you, I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay. So the items that we'll be voting on the consent agenda tonight are as follow. Under old business, we have nothing. Under new business, we have a motion to approve the acceptance of a grant of permanent utility easement from Mary Nugent for vacant property located along South Cypress, parcel 030229400003. Item number 2 is a resolution 1908, a resolution approving a side letter of agreement between the Village of Manteno and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council. And the payment of the bills in the amount of $364,392.56, of which $313,657.51 are from TIF 1. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be voted on individually? Seeing none, I would accept the motion to take a single roll call vote on the question of passage of the agenda items as read.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Crockett,
A second.
second by Dole, roll call.
Crockett?
Yes.
Dole? Yes. Martin?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes,
Motion carries. I accept the motion to approve by unanimous vote the ordinances, resolutions, and orders contained in the consent agenda as read.
So moved.
Motion by Geske,
I'll second.
second by Dole, roll call.
Geske?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Phillips?
yes.
Motion carries. Do you have anything tonight for comments, Mr. Martin?
No, just to reiterate, big kudos to all the guys who jumped in and helped out, guys and gals that put the Oktoberfest back together in such short fashion, so that was really great. So thank you all to whoever did that. So that's it.
Mrs. Dole?
Remember, this is Fire Prevention Week too, so, check your smoke detectors, your CO detectors, change your batteries, and if you need a new smoke detector, you can check with the fire department. And I think they're talking about 10-year battery ones that they last for a long time. There's something new that's coming out. A lot of things to be careful, make sure that everything's safe in your home, getting your furnace ready for winter and all this kind of things that need to be checked. So just be safe.
Thank you, Mr. Dole. Mr. Crockett?
I also wanted to thank Jim Hanley and the Public Works Department for a job well done and the extra efforts, again, making Oktoberfest a success.
Mr. Geske?
Echo all the same comments and include, thanks Ryan, you're out there Friday night in the middle of it and you're not at Public Works now, but you were in the middle of it, and Chris on Saturday helping clean up. That was great, so thank you.
Wendell?
Sarah did a great job putting it together, and you guys did a good job keeping it together.
And luckily, nobody got hurt. I mean, I know we had just put up some new video surveillance equipment on Main Street, and we reviewed that and saw people exiting the beer tent about 5 seconds before it went down, so we were very fortunate that nobody got hurt. Yeah, it was obviously inconvenient, and there was some insurance claims, I'm sure, but luckily, everything turned out okay. When we made the news, the national news, that really wasn't what we wanted to make it for, but it's weather, we don't control it, is what it is. So thank you all very much. One thing that, is occurring though a lot, this year especially, we've had several windstorms. We are scheduled to have the last pickup for the brush route is in the month of October, is that correct, Jim?
Yes, sir.
So please, if you've got stuff, get it out there. They're gonna be going around picking stuff up. Obviously, if we have other storms, it'll get reinstituted, and we'll continue to do that. But on the normal schedule, the next couple of weeks are gonna be the last couple of weeks. So if anybody's watching and you've got something that you've been, gonna cut down and get out there, do it in the next, week or so, because that's gonna be something that's gonna be getting finished up. Public Works is going to be busy in the next couple months, obviously, or starting pretty soon with Christmas decorations, as foolish as that sounds right now in October, but when Santa comes to town the first week in December, you've got to have all that done, so that's going to be starting. I know they've got some work that they're going to be doing over in the square on Second, and a lot of final different improvements that are going to get done around town before the cold weather sets in. So if you've got, like I say, if you've got brush or anything that's out there and needs to get picked up, be sure and put it out there. Also, as far as our e-waste is concerned, we're still going around and picking that up on Mondays, but people have to call the village hall for a special pickup for that. So if anyone's wondering how to get rid of an old television or whatever, call the village hall, you'll set up a schedule, and then somebody will come and pick that up. We do that because we only do it for the Village of Manteno residents. We don't do it for anybody outside the village. It does cost the village a substantial amount of money to dispose of that, so we provide it as a service to our village residents, but we can't just have you sitting it out on the corner for like garbage and go around and pick it up. Because when we did do that, we seemed to accumulate a lot of televisions that didn't originate from Manteno, so that's why we had to start a little more limited process. And I believe that's all I've got. I would accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Crockett, second by Martin, roll call.
Crockett?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming and watching.